Hey, Rosaris from the Golden Foxes here again, and now I'm going to talk about what you need to do before you enter your first Solaris match. Most important thing to do, up here where it says region, pick the region that you get the best ping on. For me, it's Oceanic. I'm in Australia, Oceanic's in Perth, it makes sense. If you're in North America, if you're in Europe, it's no-brainer. What this does is, before a match, there's a coin flip. If player A selects North America and player B selects Europe, there's a 50-50 chance that it's going to be America or Europe. It's the fairest way to have it. I know that European players in particular are at a disadvantage on the Oceanic server, but on the flip side, I'm at a strong disadvantage when I go on a European server. I've got well into 350 ping. So, love it or hate it, that's how it is. If you can't stand on playing at 150 or higher ping, go back to quick play. Harsh, but that's how it is. The next thing you'll need to do is select your patrons. Patrons, not Patreons. You're given 3 choices. One will give you an accolade boost. What is accolade? Accolade is a bar that appears down here that fills up, and when it gets full, you get a supply cache. Cache. However you want to say it. The other two are self-explanatory, XP or CBill. My personal opinion, go the CBill. CBills are more useful than Accolade because the contents of the supply caches are your regular stuff, your decals, some weapons, equipment, shit like that. You can get some bolt-ons, but honestly I could give or take that. But the biggest problem with Accolade is that if you are a better than average player, such as myself, and you win most of your matches, and I'm talking you have a win-loss ratio of greater than 5, you're still only going to get maybe 2 supply caches per division. It's not really worth it. You go CBills, you can buy mechs, you can buy weapons, engines, consumables, all that kind of stuff. That if you're skilling up a mech, maybe XP boosted is worth it, but if you're bringing unskilled mechs into Solaris, you're going to be at a disadvantage. It's not the be-all and end-all, but you might have a rough time. All things being equal, if you have 2 players of equal experience with the same mech, same loadout, one's skilled out, one's not, I think you can see where I'm coming at now. So, yeah, my suggestion, CBill boost, forget the rest. Alright, now that's done, now is the mech selection time, which is the most daunting part for a newer player, let's be honest. Now, if you're a really, really new player, you may only have trial mechs available. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, the trial mechs are slightly more optimal than a stock loadout, but they are not optimized for Solaris. They were designed by people who really do not play MechWarrior Online that regularly, which is sad, and I hope in the upcoming changes that PGI have alluded to, they have a look at this, but anyways, that's a different subject. So if you've only got trial mechs, well, that makes your life easy because you'll only be able to choose the trial mechs. But if you've got your own mechs, there's a lot to choose from. Now, what do you choose? Well, I'll tell you. Now, a good place to figure out what mechs to bring, if you've got a suitable garage of mechs, is to check out the leaderboards. The problem is that early in the season, the leaderboards are not populated that much. So you're not going to get... See, at the moment, we are day 0 of season 11. So we've got these two guys, which, harsh but true, are not your top tier players. Like, I would not suggest anyone bring a Black Lantern into Solaris, but this guy seems to have done okay for himself. Okay. But what I did for everybody is last night, just before the reset, I made an Excel spreadsheet with a list of what the top 10 mechs of each division is. So let's have a little chat about that. So Division 1, strong Annihilator division. Most people in the top 10 opted for this 6 AC2 4 ER medium laser build in an Annihilator 2A. And these are the list of players that chose it. But you also have a singular Annihilator 1A with 2 AC5s, 3 AC10s from Grolsch. Got a similar build from the Ultimate Ghost. We've got Nate who scraps the lasers for an ER PPC. We've got this Blue Splint. Blue Splint is a really good Solaris player, and he had his one with 3 UAC 5s, 3 RAC 2s. I would love to spectate him using that. We've got Dogmeat, the Outlier. He uses the Highlander 2C Keeper, with twin LBX 20s for SRM 6. Also interested to see what that's like. And Annihilator 2A from James Bond 4020 420 with 6 AC5s. So if you've got one of these mechs, give one of these a try. And I do thoroughly encourage a new player to get the meta and use the meta to learn the mechanics of the game instead of trying to learn from something suboptimal, because there is more to the game mode than just the mech you bring. There is some strategy to it. And if you can eliminate it, basically learn the meta before you try and break it. There we go. For Division 2, we have most popular mech is the Corsair 5T with 6 AC2s and 4 medium lasers by Blue Splint, Inosuke Hashibara, and the Ultimate Ghost. And we have a range of other range mechs or brawly mechs mixed in there. Division 3, most popular is the Hatamoto Sugo or whatever, the hero, with 4 AC5s, 2 rocket launcher 20s, and 2 rocket launcher 15s by Lermgod and Giggity Goo. But as you can see, there is no singular mech and loadout that is really meta. So this Division 3 and down, actually Division 2 and down, you start to, there's not really a be all and end all mech for it. So this is a lot more varied. Division 4, we've got a tie in between the Charger 1A1 with 3 medium pulse, 4 medium laser, and the same Charger except this time with 3 large pulse and 4 medium pulse. Division 5, Shadowhawk 2H with 2 LBX20 and 3 SRM2, used by 3 players, and then the other is a mix. Division 6, Crab Florentine with 2 LBX10 and 2 medium pulse lasers. This actually surprised me a fair bit. I didn't expect to see a Crab in there. And of course the Wolverine Quarantine with 1 LBX10 and 2 SRM6 with Artemis. And Division 6, the most popular being the Assassin 26 with 1 LBX10 and 4 small pulse lasers, piloted by these 3. Of course, if you do not have the particular mech, have a look at what you do have and try and and replicate a build using a mech that you already have. And what I mean by that is one of the mechs in Division 6, let's see, Division 6 is a Dervish 6M with 4 SRM 6A and 4 small lasers. Now I don't have a Dervish, I don't have any Dervishes. Dervish would be excellent, but I don't have it. So what do? I have a Trebuchet loop gear, and I have 4 SRM 6.2 small lasers. So on paper, it can't compete. It's got less armor, it's got less weapons, it's got less armor. Did I say armor already? Who cares? Deal with it. So, and worse hitboxes. That's it. If I've repeated something, I don't care. We're doing one cut here, baby. Anyway, so it's not good, but it is somewhat competitive and it will do. If you feel like spending CBills on Mechs for Solaris, I think you're a bit crazy, but hey, it's your space box. Do what you like. But I hope you understand what I'm getting at here. If you don't have a mech that is in the top 10 of any division, see what you have, try and replicate the meta, quote unquote meta, with what you have and see how you go. It will probably work better than slapping a whole bunch of random weapons together and trying to make it work. Now, there are nuances to this, but again, this is a guide that I am pitching to newer players, beginners. If you want to break the meta, like I said before, jump onto MechWarrior Online Comp Discord and ask your questions there. They will help you out. And finally, before you jump into a game, you want to organize your skill tree. Now, again, if you don't have the CBills or the XP to skill out your mech, that's fine. You're just going to be at a disadvantage. But here's some recommendations from me. Firstly, you can go into the leaderboards, and I forgot to record this last night, but you can go into the leaderboards and see what everyone's investing in. Now, it won't give you their exact skill tree, but it'll give you a rough idea what they're going for. But I'm going to provide some general advice on where you should put your skills. So first, most importantly, auxiliary. You can't use consumables in Solaris. So points here are useless. Forget it. Sensors. I like seismic because I like to try and get matches on caves and Mech Factory. And I'll touch on that in a later video of map selection and strategy. But this can be good in claustrophobic maps where you want to know where the enemy's coming from, if they're coming from behind or something like that. So can be useful if you're in a long range mech like your mass AC2 annihilators in Division 1. Probably forget about it. Operations, if you are in a particularly hot mech that has a fair chunk of heat sinks, this may be worthwhile to get Cool Run. Because remember, the faster you can dissipate heat, the better your sustained DPS will be. Heat containment, I wouldn't. The matches are pretty short. They may help in hot builds, but I personally don't. Jump jets. Oh, look, if you're doing a kiting thing, maybe, but again, I wouldn't. Mobility, if you're in a really fast mech, maybe it's worthwhile to go a little bit faster. Personally, I would invest points into survivability over mobility, but that's just me. Again, if you're in a mech that likes to kite your opponent around the map, maybe a combination of these may be good, but I wouldn't do it. Survivability, you want all the hit points you can get. So maximum, forget AMS overload. If you need extra points, you can forget about this. This just decreases your chance of getting crit, which I'll leave it up to you whether you think that's worthwhile. And then finally, firepower. Now, I think firepower is probably one of the lesser important ones, but use a bit of thought in this. You got to have something appropriate to your build. Like this trebuchet is 4 SRM6 with Artemis plus a couple of small lasers. I could perhaps get rid of the laser duration and invest in range, but I feel range isn't really important when you're aiming to be really close to your enemy anyway. Velocity, handy if you're up against faster pilots. But yeah, that's a tough one to give general advice about because it's so much of a mindfuck. Alright, so that is loadout, mech loadout, and skills. Next, in my next video, I will be touching on map selection and strategies. And that's probably going to come out in a few weeks' time because I need time to collect my thoughts, but stay tuned and I will release that in due course. If you found this guide useful, please give it a thumbs up, let me know in the comments. If you didn't like the video, give it a thumbs down. Also let me know in the comments. Tell me what you think I did wrong, how I can improve this, if I'm full of shit. Because I want to encourage and empower players to give the Solaris game mode a try, particularly with the prizes that are on the table. So that's enough from me. Catch you in the next one.